Hi friends, I'm Navpreet Kaur. I'm an IELTS trainer at an IELTS Institute. Welcome to the class of IELTS Speaking live stream. In this I will be giving you certain techniques for answering discussion questions. Discussion questions are the part 3 of the IELTS speaking module. Here I would be giving you those details and I would give you certain techniques where you can score higher bands in this section of the IELTS speaking module. I would again like to introduce myself. I am Navpreet Kaur. I am an IELTS trainer at an IELTS Institute in Amritsar and I've been into this line for the last 3 years. Prior to that I was working in various corporate sectors. Right now, presently, I joined Unacademy as one of the educators in IELTS and I love interacting with all of you people online and helping you to score higher bands in your IELTS examination. My referral code for Unacademy is NCOR10. You can use this code and please subscribe to the courses on Unacademy using this code so that you can get the benefit of not only 10% discount on the course fee, but also you will have an access to the various other educators on this lovely platform which is called Unacademy. So kindly note down my referral code and please use this to subscribe the various courses on Unacademy. Now, not wasting much time, I would just start with the lesson. It is about techniques for answering the discussion questions. I'll give you certain techniques where I'll request you all to kindly use these techniques so that you can get the benefit of the people and you can get the benefit of those discussion questions and you can use these techniques for scoring higher bands in your IELTS examination. Right, friends? Sorry for my sore throat. Okay. First, the thing what I would like to tell you here is that the examiner can ask you many abstract questions in this part. Abstract questions means related to your cue card. Whatever cue card you have spoken, the examiner might ask you the questions and you have to answer these questions. These can be various questions, like it can be anything abstract which is not very concrete questions, like they want to analyze certain things about they'll analyze your speaking skills on how you think, how you express yourself. And in this, the main thing is that you have to express your thought, give opinion, discuss issues or compare different times. That means you have to express your thought. They'll give you a topic. They'll give you a question like, do you think this happens so and so? You have to give your thought or you have to give your opinion while answering this question, and you know that how much you have to speak on this and how you give your opinion in a better way. You have to expand your answer, you have to extend your answers so that the examiner can assess your speaking skills on the criteria which is set by the exams, like the Cambridge who are taking these exams. They can, whatever criteria they've set, the examiner once know how much you speak. If you speak at length, only then he'll be able to assess you. And in this part they also discuss issues or compare different times. There are spelling mistakes here. It's compare, it's not that, it's compare. They'll compare the different times. Compare in the sense like sometimes the question says that, do you think this would happen in the next coming years? How would it be in the next 10 years? So how you answer that question. Or if you say, do you think that presently the situation is different from that was in the past. So they are comparing those two different times. And here they want you to compare these questions and discuss the things. You should therefore practice thinking and talking about your opinion on the common everyday issues like health, economy, education, and environment. These can be some of the major topics on which questions could be asked, although it will be related to the cue card, but sometimes cue card is a specific in like topic which is said, and they can ask you some abstract questions related to it. Suppose the cue card is on uh, a healthy activity that you do, and then they might ask you questions related to health and about the environment related to that same issue, because they are somehow related to that topic. So you can take on this, and they can discuss these ask you these questions, and you need to answer these answers, give those answers in a thought in at least 6 to 7 sentences each on these questions, and you have to give your opinion in a organized manner using your skills, your speaking skills, and how much you can speak on it. There is no set word limit for answering the questions in this part of the test, as there are word limits for in writing. Here there is no set word limit. However, you should take care that your answer should not be too long or too short. It should be for 5 to 6 lines, and it should cover it should answer that question which is asked to you. It should be specific to that question, and at the same time it should give your opinion, and it should be something like just saying in one word or two words. It should not be like that. It should be for 5 6 sentences, so that your opinion can be expressed in a better way, and the examiner can understand you and can analyze you on the various factors which is required to assess. All right. So now we will start with the various techniques. The first technique that what we recommend is that you should paraphrase the question what the examiner has asked. It does not paraphrase the question as in the writing test. When the examiner asks you something, you can just repeat that question but in your own words, using the synonyms. That will just extend the answer, and at the same time you can use different vocabularies, and at the same time you will be able to answer giving you can be specific to that question, and you can answer that question as required. uh, Here I am giving you an example also. Suppose the question is, how will reading habits change in the next 10 years? How you can answer this question? I think in the coming decade. Here, in place of these 10 years, in the next 10 years, you can use the word decade. So that is one of the synonyms which you are using, and at the same time you are saying I think. With that, you are giving your opinion on that particular thing. They are asking that how will the reading habits change. After that, you can say that I think in the coming decades the reading habits would change like this is whatever you want to say here. Just when you start the sentence like this, it will give you and it will just give an introduction to your question, and at the same time the question would be paraphrased, and you would get a few seconds that would just extend your answer, and you will save on the actual speaking time. You would be you can cover up that the speaking time, and you can easily answer the question which is required of you. So here again I would just recommend that the first technique that we can use for extending our answer and for answering the discussion questions is that paraphrase the question which the examiner has asked. You can repeat the question by using your own words or using the synonyms. That is just up to you. If you can start the answer straight away, that is also okay, but in case you feel that the answer which you are giving can be short, you can just paraphrase the question and start it in your own words and answering the question. This will definitely help you to extend your answer and give you some more time on speaking, right? So the second technique, now we come to the second technique. The second technique is give reasoning for each of your answers. That is, you have to explain why. Whatever you say, you have to give reasons for it, because you cannot say in one sentence. If a person asks you some question, you just give your answer in one word or one sentence. Give reasons for it, that why do you think so, and then that will extend your answer, that will give a logical answer to the examiner. You can give your views, but state why you feel so. As I said, that you should state why you feel so by after giving the views, and just assume that the examiner doesn't know anything about the topic and you are explaining it to him. You have to assume that whatever the question examiner has asked, examiner is just totally unaware of what he's asking. He doesn't know anything about the topic, and you have to explain it. You have to think as if he's a newcomer into this, or he's a baby whom you have to teach something. So start from that topic and give as much details as you can, extending your answer, giving reason, giving why for every answer, for every sentence you give, or whatever answer you give a explain a why of that question. For example, what are the activities that youngsters do in your country? Suppose the question is this. Suppose the examiner asks you, what are the activities that youngsters do in your country? How would you answer this? There can be many activities. People study, youngsters just move about, watch movies, they study in schools and colleges. But what an ideal answer can be? I have given examples for that also. It can be like they say it. You can say it depends on their age. Now, how it depends on their age? You have to give reason. As young kids like to ride bikes or playing in the street. Young kids. Now here he is differentiating between different kids. Young kids, then he'll take on the older kids, that is the teenagers. You can differentiate these age groups, and that will also extend your answer. But when you give the answer, it depends on their age. Why? Why means how it depends on their age. As young kids like to ride bikes or playing in the street. On the other hand, slightly older kids like teenagers love to spend time with their friends. Again, we have to give the reason why they like to spend their friends. They like to watch movies or hang out at eating joints. You are extending. It's not a complete reason, but you are extending your answer, that how they spend their time with their friends. Here you are taking two categories of the children. One is the younger one, the other one is the teenagers. Sometimes answer can be some different kind also. Like they can say that what are the possible things that will reduce pollution in your country. Here you can say that I think if the government uses certain strategies to improve the pollution, like you are giving examples, you are giving reasons for it, that government should try to control the people who are using who are just polluting the environment, like the vehicles which are being used should be banned to a certain age, or they should be completely checked on a certain time, and they should be made pollution free, or the government can introduce non-polluting vehicles like e-rickshaws and all those which are being introduced nowadays. So you have to give reason to it and extend your answer for at least 5-6 lines. As I told earlier also, you have to answer in 5-6 lines. So the technique here is that you should give reasoning for each of the answer that you give. That will extend your answer. Okay, now we'll discuss about the next technique. Technique 3. Technique 3, and this is a very good technique, that is that while giving answers we can include examples in our answers. Including examples will not only make your point clear to that answer, but it will also help you to extend your answer. When you give examples, but just make sure that give the relevant answers to what answer you are giving. The example should be relevant to that. And in order to really develop your answer, an example is normally needed. It's normally needed, like I said, like government can use this. That ways you can use the example and you can extend your answer. This means, this is quite obvious also in certain cases that you can give examples, but most of the people forget this. They don't use this. They don't give examples in their speaking. This is one of the important things. If you give examples, if you extend your answers by giving examples, you will definitely be able to answer it in a better manner, and you will be able to give you will be able to express your views in a better way. The examiner will be able to understand you more easily if you give examples. You can clarify your point of view, you can clarify your opinion by giving the examples. That will not only extend the answer, but your answer will also be clear. Just in case of writing, as we give examples in writing, here also if we give the examples, that will extend our answer and it will help to clarify our point of view. Then another point is that there are students who say that they don't know any kind of examples, and at that time they are not able to develop answer. They don't remember any examples, or the topic which was given to them was such that they didn't know any example there. So in case you do not know any example at that time, you don't remember any, just make up one, make a story, because they are not there to check the authenticity of your answers. They are not going to see that your answer is right or wrong. They are just assessing your speaking skills. You can make up the example, you can just form any kind of example, give the details about it, and then you speak and elaborate your answer. Now, example what we have used here is, do you think advertising affects people's shopping habits? This is also quite a common question which is being asked in discussion parts. So what the ideal answer can be? Absolutely. Absolutely means yes. Instead of saying yes, you can use the word absolutely. Advertisements affect people's buying habits and advertisements influence them. Yes, he means to say, the person means to say that yes, advertising affects the people's shopping habits. Instead of repeating that question, he just answered absolutely. Advertisement affect people's buying habits, shopping habits. Instead of shopping habits, he is using people's buying habits, and advertisements influence them to buy whatever the item is. It influences. And yes, definitely this is in our practical life also. We see that when we see an advertisement either on the TV or in the print media, we just like to purchase that thing and see whether that thing is as effective as being advertised in the advertisement. If it is, I don't say that you should buy it, but if it is necessary and if you are planning to buy something similar to that, we'll definitely use will definitely be influenced by that advertisement and will try to buy it because we are planning to buy a similar thing. And here he is giving the example: during the festive season, it is observed that the sales go up by 70% just by promotions. You know that during the festive seasons, especially in India, the Diwali season is considered as a festive season, and during those times we can see many hoardings of advertisements. There are many plans launched during this season. There are many discounts given, many schemes launched, different things are launched, and people try to advertise these things through various media. Either they put up hoardings, they send you the pamphlets, or they use advertisements on television or on radio or on different things, and they try to improve their sales. And yes, sales improve during that period just because people are influenced by the advertisements and they change their habits. Most of the people, when they see that this is the scheme or this is a particular uh, discount, certain discount is given on these things, and that is being advertised. Otherwise, sitting at the home, you won't be able to know what is going on, what the plan is, how you, what the next, like what is the scheme going on at that time. So advertisement, when people advertise this, you become aware of those plans, those things, those features which is being there. And then when you read those advertisements or when you come across those advertisements, you are aware of the product's features or the about the details about whatever the thing is advertised, and definitely influences you. So your view can easily be expressed there once you understand what the question demands. You know what exactly the person is trying to say. You can answer the question, give 2-3 lines of the answer, and then give an example, add an example to it, so that your answer is extended. Even sometimes when your grammar is not good, you are not able to give good examples, correctly, grammatically correct. In that case, it doesn't mean that you will get lower bands. The examiner also knows that you know the topic, you are able to answer the questions, but you are weak in that section, and he might give you lesser bands in that particular parameter in the grammar, but at least he'll be able to give you answers in your fluency and in the other parameters, because you are able to express yourself in a better way, you are able to extend the answers. So always try to use these techniques, which most of the students don't, and that is why I always recommend that use examples when you give your answers in the discussion questions in the third part of the speaking test. Examples can be given in the part 2 also, but in part 3 you should always try to give examples in your answers. These were just the 3 techniques which I mainly recommend you all people, and I would again like to emphasize on these, that if you use all these 3 techniques, you will be able to give the best possible answers to your questions, and your speaking module or your speaking section, your speaking test would definitely be much better than what is required. If you use these techniques, it will help you to get higher bands. It's not mandatory that people say that if you use very vocabulary, your vocabulary should be very high, then you get the bands. You can use simple words also. The only thing is that you should be able to express yourself. Speaking is for analyzing you, for analyzing how much you express yourself, how much you can say about yourself, and how you explain yourself. The examiner is there to test your speaking skills on the different criteria which is set in the exam, and they will analyze you on all those parameters, on all those aspects. So be natural and speak as much as you can on that particular topic which is being asked to you in the part 3 of the speaking test. Now in this slide, I would just give you an overview of the subscription rates. My referral code is mentioned on the top of the slide, which is NCOR10. Kindly use this reference code and subscribe to the various courses on Unacademy, especially for the IELTS. This fees is for the IELTS subscription. In this, the description as given is that if you take the package for 1 month, the fees would be 2799 per month, but at the same time you will get a 10% discount. If you use my code, it will be reduced by 10%. And the package for 3 months is 2300, but if you use my code, you will get a discount on that. That means if the package for 3 months total would be 6900, you can get a discount of approximately 690 on this, and you will get a benefit of the discount. At the same time, you can take the subscription to the various courses. So if you take this subscription, if you subscribe to my courses, you will not only get a discount, but at the same time you will have an access to the various other educators also. This is the one benefit of subscribing to the Unacademy courses. Just I would request you all to kindly note down my referral code, and whenever you want to subscribe, kindly use this referral code and subscribe to the various courses on Unacademy. You can just go through these subscription rates, but at the same time you can also contact the the Unacademy team for any details if you want to. So before I finish it off, I'll just like to give you an overview about what we've discussed here. In this lesson today, we were discussing about the various techniques of answering the discussion questions. My name is Navpreet Kaur. I'm an IELTS trainer at an IELTS Institute. I have recently joined Unacademy, and in IELTS I have a total experience of more than 3 years. My referral code is NCOR10, which you can use to subscribe to my courses. And today we were discussing about the various questions which are being asked in the discussion questions, that is the part 3 of the speaking test. Here the examiner can ask you many abstract questions, and you have to express your thought, give opinion, discuss issues, or compare different times. I'm sorry, there is a spelling mistake in compare. Please don't take it that way. It's compare different times, and you should therefore practice thinking and talking about your opinion on the common everyday issues like health, economy, education, and environment. These are certain topics which are generally asked in the IELTS speaking discussion questions. There is no set word limit for answering the questions in this part of the test. Only thing is that your answer should not be too short or too long. You should speak at least for 5 to 6 sentences to make your answer to that length that the examiner can assess you. So what are the techniques which we discussed? Technique 1 was that we should paraphrase the question which the examiner has asked, and you can repeat the question by using your own words and synonyms. This will help you to extend your answer. At the same time, it will give you time to extend your answer, and it will extend your time period. Right? Second technique is give reasoning for your answer. Explain why and how in every of the answer which you give. Give views, whatever views you give, whichever opinion you give, but state why you feel so. Discuss why you feel so. Give reasoning why you feel that, why you have such an opinion. Give reasons for it. Just assume that the examiner doesn't know anything about the topic, and you have to explain it in your own words. Try to explain to him everything that you can, right? By giving reasons to your answer. And the third technique which I recommend is give examples to your answers. By giving examples, you will really develop your answer, and this becomes a very good strategy for scoring higher bands in your IELTS examination. Although most of the students don't do it, but I highly recommend that give examples in your IELTS speaking discussion questions. In case you do not know any examples, you are not aware of any real examples, you can just make a story at that particular time, make an example and then give, because that will extend your answer to the desired time, right? Okay friends, this was the today's class and I hope you enjoyed it. Kindly give your comments in the comment section below so that we can know about your feedback, and I can try to improve myself on the lessons, and at the same time I can try to solve your queries. Thank you friends.